Welcome back everybody to Tesla Driver. I hope you're doing very well. Today is going to be a bit of a story time, and it's actually going to be quite an interesting story that has happened this morning and is technically continuing on, but I have no problem talking or posting it because I would like to get your guys' opinions and just see what you all think of it. So basically this morning, my partner Holly had a little accident. She bumped into another car in our Model X, which we just got yesterday, and it all went tits up from there. Now, the actual damage to us was none. There was absolutely no damage to the Model X. There was some damage to their Corsa, and it was Holly's fault, and I'm putting that out there from the start. But what I want to go over is how some people handle roadside situations. The gentleman in the car, who wasn't even the driver, was abusive and shouted and screamed at my partner, who, by the way, is, she's a small girl, and she had my 2-year-old daughter with her. And she just bumped into a car. She said she jumped out and was going over and being, "I'm really, really sorry." And apparently this guy was screaming at her very abusively and saying he's calling the police. So at this point, Ov gets a call. I'm 2 minutes down the road. I answer it, and she's like, "Look, Ov, don't be mad. I've bumped into someone. Our car's fine, everybody's fine, but the guy is having a go at me and he's being really abusive, and I'm a little bit scared." So I jump up, I get in my Model 3, and I start driving over. And at this point, I then get this little voice clip of her waiting by the side.
I think I'm in shock because my voice is all wobbly and I can't stop my hand from shaking, and I feel like I'm going to be sick. But even though I didn't bump the car, I think it was him shouting at me.
Holly, I'm just going to pause it here, and Holly started to go forward and carry on and go around. When she looked, the learner driver slammed on, braked hard, and then Holly was still looking and just nudged into her. You can see it's not much damage because there's not much damage to my car, and the impact to their car is in a small kind of weak area, so nobody's hurt. But at this point, the old guy is claiming his back hurts and he's got whiplash, and he's called the police over this, okay? And at this point, the driver's not even got out and spoken to Holly, nor me. So at this point, I start going, we need to talk, we need to exchange details. She didn't want to talk, but we had to. I had to at least give her all of my details. So I kind of wanted to show the old guy how us younger guys talk and treat women and how we respect them, because this is a classic case of the guy gets out, he's overprotective of the girl who's in the car, who I don't know who the girl is, so it might not be, might not be related, it might have been on a lesson or a test, I don't know, but the guy comes out and starts getting very aggressive, abusive, and very defensive, which sadly is why I had to go. Being another guy, I had to go and sort it out because Holly felt scared about it. Anyway, listen to how I speak to her.
I just want to give you our insurance details and stuff. Is that right? Don't worry, not your fault. It's not your fault. Do not worry.
Don't worry, it's not your fault. I'm making sure she knows it's not her fault at all.
My contact info. Please don't get upset about it. I know how it can be, and it can be a horrible thing.
I know that, darling.
So I'm just going to pause it there. So I've said to this lady, look, it's not your fault at all. I'm really sorry this has happened. I'm being really nice, and all I'm saying is I need your info, you need my info. And at this point, I can hear the old guy on the phone go, "I know, darling." Now, he's actually told me at this point he's on the phone to the police. He's not. He's on the phone to someone else because he's called them darling. But he's telling me all this time that he's been on the phone to the police, which the police do get involved later on. But anyway, so you can see he's still on the phone. He's not bothering talking to us about any of it. I'm happily talking to this girl very nicely and just trying to get this situation sorted, because I know that we just need to exchange details. Can you continue on our way, continue with our day, and then we will sort it out, because like I've said, it was Holly's fault, and I've never not said that. No, hey ho.
Don't worry, we'll get it all sorted out and we'll get your car all fixed. No, just all this way.
So anyway, at this point, I've given Holly the phone just so I'm talking to the young lady here, and I'm starting to write down my details. And then as I get this stuff out, I figure out I'm not very good at writing, so I call Holly over to write for me.
Just do my details, the car details, our house, and put enterprise.
So I basically go over everything that she needs to write down for this lady.
I'm really bad at writing.
She asked me if it was a pen issue or something. So anyway, Holly at this point, so as you can see, the lady driver, she's shook up and she's a little bit upset, but she's fine. She's happy to talk, cooperate, and she's actually really, really nice. It's just this other guy, and he at this whole point is giving me evils, pointing at me, pointing at Holly, pointing at the car, and we're just like, what is he actually doing? Anyway, so Holly at this point tells me something, and I'm like, look, we just need to get the details to them. I can't remember what she told me. Okay, there's a lot of pausing by the looks of it. Right, so here we go. So here's I've got all the details on the piece of paper at this point, and now I go talk to the girl again.
Okay.
I blurred it out, obviously.
Thank you. So this is me, Oliver Ryan. This is my personal cell, so that will get straight to me. That's who we're renting from, so that will be who you get your call from. We're
blocking out my address.
The house is just up there, okay? We've got to continue with our day, but we'll get in touch and we'll get it all sorted and all fixed for you, okay? I really apologise for it. It's not your fault, and don't worry. You know, learning, driving, all that, you're going to be really good. It's not a problem, okay? There you go.
Okay. So at that point, my conversation with the girl, with the lady, sorry, has been really positive. She's said, you know, thank you for the information and thank you for you know, I was trying to soothe her. I was trying to make it easy. I don't like seeing people distressed. And at this point, the guy then hangs up his phone because I've obviously got a piece of paper and I'm giving it to her, and he pretty much demands it from me. He comes out with his hand like this and he's like, I want that. So, you know, I feel that the girl almost had no control here. So I gave it to the guy, and this is the first time he actually looked and started to speak to me. And at this point is when I start to say, hold on, before you speak to me, you never speak to any other person how you spoke to my partner. You never shout at people, especially in this. There's no need to shout. It's already happened. You can resolve the situation better. And sadly, he picks up with how he left off with my partner and then continues to try and talk down and shout at me when we're all happily trying to resolve the situation except for him. So, yeah, I might block out the swear words.
Please do not shout at my partner again.
I did not shout.
Your partner told me.
I did not. I said I should.
Calm down. The
I'm
thought
all
of
right.
calling the police is ridiculous.
No, it's not, because
This is-
she's
okay, right,
driving
no.
without
As the-
you
as
paying
the-
attention.
as the driver
Listen, let me
knows-
talk
as
with
the
you.
driver knows,
Come on, let's
there's
go.
no perfect. We're all sorted then. Thank you.
Right. Very simple there. All I was trying to do is exactly describe what has happened and how I don't believe how he's reacted is right. I've said to him, look, do not shout to my partner. He said he didn't. He said should. I'm not saying he said shout. He shouted and he was abusive towards her. And then he goes on the back foot of no, wasn't. And I just tried to explain, look, the fact that you've done that to her, you've then said to her, you're calling the police. I've said, you're calling the police over a tiny, tiny bump. The police are just going to laugh at you and say, thank you for wasting our time, which she pretty much did on the phone, by the way, because I spoke to the police officer on the phone. And at that point, he's gone, no. And he starts getting a little bit, I don't know, a little bit manly. I don't know what the word is for it. But then he all of a sudden goes, no, fine, we're going. So I said, okay, great. That's all I wanted. And I go to shake his hand at this point, and you'll see that he says no and pushes me away. He doesn't push me away. I mean, you know, he says no. He doesn't want the handshake. So I shake the girl's hand in the car. Believe it or not, she's very happy to shake my hand, and she's very appreciative of it. It then continues.
Perfect. We're all sorted then. Thank you very much. Thank you.
So then he said the police are coming.
Thank you very much.
And by the way, he actually said no way to shaking my hand. Don't forget, I didn't crash the car at all. I've come to assist the situation, give details, and try and calm down the lady in the car so that she's happy. And he's saying to me, no way, he doesn't want to shake my hand.
No problem. You need to get a grip and maybe grow up a little bit.
No, and you.
Trust me, you bring up. What?
So at that point, he calls me a bad word. And I've not been abusive to him at this point. I've tried to resolve the situation, and as you can see, I'm clearly walking away to get back to my car because at this point he's told me he's done. He decides to follow me, and he calls me a something. Don't call other people names because I want to discuss it.
Get in your car.
That's my response. Get in your car and go away. That's obviously not what I said. I said F off. But I said that because at this point he's already told me to go away. He's then following me, calling me names. Yeah, anyway, let's continue. He's now saying the police are coming.
No problem, and she's very happy moving forward. You're the issue here, mate.
No, I'm not.
You are. Trust me.
She's driving without
Trust
you
me.
paying attention.
What? She's apologized.
So at this point he says that he's not the issue actually. And I came out of Beefeater in my Model 3 and there was a car parked, or is seeming to be have parked and stopped for a long time in the middle of a roundabout. If we can watch this footage now, this is me coming out of Beefeater, an Audi goes past, and I come around the corner to see a Vauxhall Corner, and when I was pulling out, I saw the Vauxhall Corsa already parked. It's parked in the middle of a roundabout. Now, granted, an ambulance has gone past just before, so I assume it stopped for that. But you'll see like the vans going around and everything, and then the car stays stopped there. And then they start going off, and I'm like, that's really strange. Then I look at the number plate. The number plate is M8 SON or SOM, which is the exact same car that Holly bumped into earlier. The exact same guy that said the car might not be drivable. I don't know, but I assume it's the same person. I honestly don't know that's actually driving it. But the fact is, we've seen an hour later, I've got a clip of the person sat in the middle of the roundabout and literally creating a whole line around the roundabout. And on the right from this point, there were nearly 2 accidents. Horns were going, people were getting pissed off because a car had stopped in the middle of the road. And you can see that it caused a lot of issues. There was this car to my left, this Audi, didn't know whether to go or not because the car wasn't going, if that makes sense. It caused us a lot of weirdness, and me seeing that makes me believe Holly wasn't in the wrong, even to the degree that I'm saying, because that's odd. So I'm totally happy with what Holly has said to me, because I've seen with my own eyes that this driver's maybe a little bit not quite there with the roads yet. That's fine, they're learning. And now we're now here, and it's now, what time is it? 3 o'clock.